All right. I think we're sharing, well, not sharing, I think we're recording now. So, like Elena said, this is going to be a conversation, right? This is how we've structured this time. I think that it is an understatement to say that 2020 has been a very difficult year, and we can all use some support and just a little bit of community, even if it's just through Zoom, just for an hour. So I want to tell you a little bit about Oasis so that you know about this resource in the community if you are in the Birmingham community. And um, and then I'm gonna just give you some pointers on how to deal with grief and through the holidays. But the most we're going to spend most of our time in conversation about what has worked for you in the past, what is working for you now, and what you might like to try to help you through these difficult times. I welcome you to ask questions and to share about yourself and about your experience with others. And once we get to that point, and I will give you more information when that comes up. So let's see here. There you go. All right, so a little bit about Oasis. Oasis has been around since 1994, and our mission is to improve the quality of life for vulnerable women and children and families in Alabama and specifically the Birmingham area by providing quality, cutting edge mental health care in a safe and nurturing environment. We are located right behind the Five Points area and in three historic houses. And so it's a really unique setting for a mental health agency, and that is absolutely intentional. The founder and LaRussa uh, really got these houses and wanted to have these houses for Oasis because she wanted to make sure that people came in and felt like they were at home. They felt like it was a place where they could be comfortable and taken care of, and not just a sterile clinic like you would find somewhere else in a lot of community mental health agencies. So we offer individual therapy for women, play therapy for boys and girls ages 3 to 12, counseling for adolescent girls. We also do couples and family therapy, child parent relationship therapy. We do groups, even though we don't have any active groups going right now, but we are hoping to do that, to start that again in the spring. And we do outreach and education events, much like this one. Uh, and it's all at a cost you can afford. So we do offer income-based fees. So it's based on how much you make a year and how many dependents you have. We accept major private insurance plans, and also we accept Medicaid for children. We do not accept Medicaid for adults, but we do, like I said, we do offer the income-based fees. And of course, we also realize that we may not be able to serve everyone's needs. So if we can't offer you what you need, we're happy to work with you to find some resources and guide you to the right place. So if you are interested in, or if somebody is interested in Oasis and maybe getting some counseling or trying out some counseling, the way to do that is to call our main number there. That's the number for our front desk, and indicate that you want to start counseling. And we'll return your message if we miss your call. Right now, we have folks in the office from 8:30 to about 3 in the afternoon. That is a shortened day for us because, and we've kept the schedule through the pandemic, and that's because we're not offering any in-person services at this time. We're still only offering telehealth. Um, but you can call that number. We'll return your call if we miss your call, and then an intake counselor will call you, and that may be Zoe, whom you met, or it may be Shanitha, our intake coordinator, and and during that call, they're going to get some basic information about you and what brings you to Oasis, and going to do some screenings and insurance verification or fee setup, and then finally set up an appointment for you. They're also going to send you links for you to fill out forms for us for your before your first telehealth appointment, as well as give you instructions on how to log in for your telehealth appointment. And then um, when it's the time and the day, you just log in and know that we try to schedule within 10 business days of that first call that you make, or that first call when we call you back. That is not always possible, but it is our goal. So we try to, and when we can't, when we have a little bit of a waiting list going, which we do right now, we let folks know that ahead of time so you can make an informed decision about whether you want to wait or you want to find somewhere else, and we'll give you information on other, on possibly other agencies and resources that you may find helpful. Zoe, am I missing something?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, so if you have more questions about Oasis or about anything else, I'll stay after for a few minutes, but we'll also give you our information at the end of this presentation so you can ask. But I wanted to start with a little, hopefully something that will make you laugh a little bit, make us all laugh a little bit. I know I laughed when I saw this the first time. It was a long meme about, if 2020 were these different things. And if we're being real with each other, it's been a really crappy year, right? And so even for folks who have, just had this pandemic to worry about, it was difficult. Imagine everybody else with all of the problems that we already had, and challenges we were already dealing with on top of that. And I don't know anybody who just had this pandemic to worry about. So if 2020 was an ice cream flavor, it would be a liver and onions ice cream flavor, right? If it were a piñata, it would be more like a hornet's nest. And if it was a scented candle, well, you see what that might be like. And part of the reason why it's been so difficult is because it has really been a year of loss. And whenever there's loss, there is grief. And all of us have experienced some kind of loss this year. First of all, there's the loss of a sense of safety, right? Even when we do everything right, there's no guarantee that we're going to be able to get through this without getting COVID, without being exposed. And then if we're exposed, like, that is definitely a threat to our safety, right? So that the loss of that sense of safety is something that can really be difficult for human beings to wrap their mind around. And so imagine dealing with that, and some of you don't have to imagine because you're going through it, on top of the loss of sense of safety related to other diagnoses as well, right? So that's really big. That's a really big stressor. Then there's the loss of time and connection with those we love and that are important to us. We've been in isolation in order to protect ourselves and those we love, but that comes at a cost, right? So 2020 has really put us in a difficult position of having to balance keeping ourselves and others physically safe versus keeping ourselves and others safe and well mentally and emotionally, right? And so our mental health and our emotional health is dependent on connection. And so when we go for months at a time without seeing anybody in person, without touching people, outside of our immediate household, and for folks who are single or who live by themselves, that's hard, right? That is definitely a huge loss. We know from neurobiology studies that the ability to see people face to face, have eye contact face to face, and to touch people is basically essential for survival, right? And it does something to the human brain when we don't have that. As long, especially for as long as we've gone without it. So that's another huge loss. And then, of course, we're also grieving the people that we lost, right? Many deaths from COVID, but also many deaths from everything else, from cancer, from, I recently lost my father to Parkinson's. And so all of these deaths are also weighing on us right now. And for a lot of people, they haven't been able to even have funerals or memorial services the way that they would, which is for the living, right? These things are the rituals that help us keep living when we've lost people that are so important to our lives. And so we haven't even been able to take refuge in that. And then there's the sense of loss and grief over our own health, right? If we come up sick or our loved ones come up sick for whatever reason. So grief is always, whenever people are grieving, holidays are hard, right? So holidays are hard for a lot of people all the time. And then this year is particularly hard because we're all grieving in some way or another. If we're not grieving the loss of a person or of our own health or someone's health, we're grieving these other intangible, resources and needs that we've gone without. And and a loss is a loss, right? Whenever there's loss, there is grief. So we're all a little more limited in how we deal with grief and you know, the options for finding refuge and solace this year. So, what I want to propose is that we focus on just getting through it. All right. We just get through it without making things worse. Let's all agree that this is going to be a sucky year, and it's going to be very difficult, very difficult time. And so when we lower our expectations, we tend to be able to make it through a time the best way that we can, because then we're not expecting that this is going to be just like any other holiday or any other time, right? And it's okay to lower our expectations. It's okay to just make it a goal to get through it the best way we know how, all right, even if it's not perfect. So that's what I'm doing, and this is what I'm proposing here. um, so a few ways to do this, and I'm curious to hear what you all think and what you feel like it's going to be helpful to you, and what you might do. And then other ideas that may not be here, but I'm going to just share it with you a couple of strategies. And so the first bucket of strategies is mindfulness and intentionality, right? It's this focus on the here and now. Uh, and when we're going through crises of whatever kind, the best thing that we can do is just focus on one step at a time, right? Focus on what's right in front of you. And then once you figure that out, then you focus on the next thing that comes up. When we tend to keep thinking about the past and going through those losses over and over again, or comparing things to how they were in previous years, it just tends to make us more sad, more you know, you feel that despair fresh and anew all the time. If you keep thinking about the future, we tend to get anxious because, there's so many unknowns, and we as human beings don't like unknowns, right? And so let's not worry about that, because we're not there yet. We can't do anything about the future, and we can't change the past. So the antidote to sadness and depression, as well as to anxiety and expectation, is mindfulness and a focus on the present, on the here and now. Make a plan, okay? Ask yourself before, during, and after the holidays, what am I really feeling and thinking and needing, okay? Constantly get in the habit of asking yourself, what do I need? What do I need right now? What do I need in this moment? What do I need today? What is going to make it easier for me to get through? And then go about getting that. All right. This is the basic step of self care. All right. When we talk about self care, we tend to think about, I know I do, chocolate and Netflix and bubble baths, and those things are important. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Um, but it goes beyond that, right? Self care is about just moment by moment, taking a breath, allowing yourself to just be with yourself, and asking and bring, give your own compassionate attention to yourself. All right. Uh, and then making space for the answers to bubble up, right? You may not know what you need, and you may not know what your loved one needs if you're trying to support a loved one. And that's okay. Only they can tell you that, right? And although you don't want to badger them for the answer, you want to give them space. You want to ask the question and wait and listen for the answer, and let them figure it out so that they can um, express that to you. I think that in and of itself is something that can be very helpful for people, right? It's just being asked, what do you need, and how can I give that to you, right? Or help you get that. Then the second bucket of strategies is communication and connection, right? So list your core support people, at least one person, but no more than five. I'm talking about, if you're a fan of Brene Brown, or you've read any of her books, you know about her, her little tip about, like, take a 1 square inch piece of paper, right? And write down the names of all the people that matter to you in that 1 square inch. That's, however, those are the people who matter, right? Those are the people whose opinions you care about. Those are the people who are going to love you and support you no matter what. And they're not going to judge you, and they're not going to, and they're also not going to treat you as fragile either. They're going to be honest and authentic with you, all right? And does allow you to do the same. So those are the people, those are your people, those are your core support people. And I encourage you to do this little exercise, especially if you're dealing with folks who are giving you a hard time about your choices for the holidays, right? Whether you're making the choice to travel and be with family, or you're making the choice to hunker down and be and stay where you're at. Um, your core support people are going to are the ones that are going to help you stay strong in your decision. Okay, so you reach out to them, you tell them ahead of time what you think you need, and what your plan for Christmas Day is, or what your plan for Hanukkah is. And so, whatever day, whatever time is most difficult, make a plan, communicate it to your core support people, and engage their help in holding up the structure for you, helping you hold up the structure. And then connect any way you can, right? No, a video chat or eating in front of Zoom is not how anybody wants to spend the holidays. But if that's all you got, use it, right? Once again, it's about lowering our expectations and maybe uh, finding some grace through it, right? Maybe you do it and you say, hey, you know what? Like, actually, that ended up being fun. That was nice to hear them, or we were able to um, make some jokes, or talk in a way that we weren't able to do in person, right? I heard that from a couple of people this year. Is I uh, I heard someone tell me, I had Thanksgiving dinner with my dad over Zoom. I made my plate and then I sat in front of the computer and he made his plate and we ate together. And he and I agreed at the end that it was better than if we had been in person, because in person he would have eaten and gone to watch football, and kind of checked out. And this way he didn't, right? We ended up uh, actually engaging with one another. So that's what I mean. Sometimes when we just accept that this is where we're at and this is the only option, we can find a little bit of grace in the middle of it. So be thinking about how to do that, right? Maybe it's letter writing, maybe it's phone calls, maybe it's photo sharing. I don't know. Um, so, but get creative, and then be flexible and curious about yourself and others. So whenever you find yourself getting into a judgmental headspace, right, making judgments about others, judgments about yourself. Oh, I can't do the things that I normally would do, or I can't believe that this has been so difficult for me. Decorating the house has been so difficult. Just get curious. Make room for changing needs, right? Schedule time to be alone and recharge as well. Make room for mourning. Maybe you don't want to decorate the whole house. Maybe, like me, you will go about trying to do what you've always done, which is to decorate like all of the bushes outside of your house with like a million lights. And you will see that of that million, all but one strand has burned out magically, and then you decide to say, no, screw it. I'm not going to worry about that. All right. I don't have the energy for that. So you don't. So you hang up a garland instead, or a wreath. I mean, and that's all you do. Or maybe you don't do anything at all. All right. That's okay. You get to be flexible with yourself and with others. Remove the pressure to be happy go lucky and to be joyful and merry and bright. All right. That's and go about as if this were a normal holiday. It's not. All right. So the sooner we can accept that and be gentle with ourselves and with others, the better. And incorporate new rituals, right? If you're mourning the loss of someone, or even just the loss of parts of yourself, right? Like your health or something, how think of ways that you can make a meaningful memorial for that person, or that thing, during your celebrations, right? So I heard that people have found a lot of solace and comfort from having a like a seat at the table that is designated as um, the seat of honor that that person would be sitting at, right? And then they put flowers, or maybe they invite a guest over and they uh, put them at that seat, so it's not the empty place at the table, right? Or if you can't invite somebody over, maybe put the computer with the Zoom screen there, for somebody else to take that seat of honor at the table. So things like that, little things like that can be helpful, incorporating new rituals. And like I said, no judgment, just curiosity. Just instead of saying, well, I can't believe, just say, that's curious. I wonder what that's about. Or just that that's curious, noted. Like this is I didn't expect this before. I didn't see this coming. And that's okay. Okay? Because that's the difference between dealing with something from a closed mental space versus an open, sort of accepting mental space. Okay? So this is the end of my little presentation. And like I said, I'm really curious to hear what other people were thinking that might be helpful to them, as well as your questions and your thoughts on these strategies that I've shared. I'm going to be inviting Zoe to come up now to lead the discussion, and I'll be, contributing as I can.
Anyone have like any initial thoughts that you wanted to bring up, or any questions that came up? Saying it out loud, you can put things in the chat too, so feel free to put things in the chat as well.